Good evening. I'm Brandy Peterson.
I'm Rob McCartney. 2 hours left to vote in Nebraska, 3 in Iowa, and campaigns are still going strong. We
have crews across the metro and in Lincoln covering every major race. First tonight, some troubles at the polls. KETV News Watch 7's Nicole Goodrich is live.
There were not a lot of issues at the polls today, but a mix-up at two of the polling places impacted a few dozen people. Election officials say once that was cleared up, things have been running pretty smoothly. As voters turn out on Election Day,
we feel very involved right now.
About 50 people in Douglas County were missing the second page of their ballot. That has the OPS bond, the minimum wage proposal, and other special issues. The mix-up by poll workers impacted about 40 voters at the Pecat Elementary polling place and about 10 people at the Kids Can Community Center.
Poll workers are doing their best. They're not professionals. This isn't what they do full time. So, we got to give them a little slack sometimes, but we try to make sure that they get things corrected as quickly as possible.
Douglas County Election Commissioner Dave Phipps says other than the morning mix-up at those two sites, the voting process has been running smoothly.
We did a 46% turnout prediction, and, I would imagine we'll be pretty close to that. That's a good sign, we think.
Sarpy County officials say they're on track to hit their 47% expected voter turnout.
Our biggest emergency so far is one polling site wanted to make sure they had enough I voted stickers to last the entire day, so we made sure we got those out because those are the most important things to voters.
While the stickers are popular, voters say the most important thing is making your voice heard.
The young people have really got to step up and say, hey, this is my obligation, and get in there and vote.
Election officials say polls are busiest right about now, so if there is a line like there has been forming behind us tonight, just be prepared to be patient. Reporting live, Nicole Goodrich, KETV News Watch 7.
Thanks, Nicole. Now to what's predicted as being the closest race in Nebraska, the fight for Congress in District 2.
We're live with both sides tonight trying to sway last-minute voters. KETV News Watch 7's Adrian Witsit begins our team coverage with the challenger, Democrat Brad Ashford. Adrian?
And Rob, we're still waiting on Brad Ashford to get here to his victory party here at 72nd and Grover. But he said he wants nothing more than a victory tonight. He wants to go to Capitol Hill, grab 25 friends, build a consensus, and change things in Washington, D.C. His campaign hopes the early voting totals in Douglas County and Sarpy County help propel him to that goal. Ashford took the traditional in-person route today, not voting early, shaking hands outside the Glad Tidings Assembly polling place this morning and waiting in a small line before his turn. Ashford, has switched political sides in his life. He's been a Republican, an independent, and this time running as a Democrat. And while he likely penciled the oval for his own name today, he has continued to say that the party does not matter.
We have a sense of independence. We have a sense of solving problems. And parties are obviously part of the game, but the reality is that the representatives that serve this district need to be able to convince the voters that they are independent of any party. They will make decisions based on what their constituents want, not what the Republican Party wants or the Democrat Party wants.
Well, you just heard from Brad Ashford, the candidate for the U.S. Congress earlier. He's now here with us live. It's now 6 o'clock. You got 2 hours until the polls close, Brad. What is your feeling on this election day?
Well, it's been a great day. I think our message is getting through that Washington needs to be fixed, and we're going to go find 25 friends and get it done. So I'm really excited about it. It's been a great day.
Yeah. We know that you guys weren't doing exit polls around, but what's really your feeling, and what do you expect to see as the 8 o'clock and maybe even the 8:45 returns come in?
I never predict these things, and I just have faith that the voters have heard our message and they want change, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And so we'll hear more from Brad Ashford later on tonight. Obviously, the first polls coming in, or the first returns coming in at 8 o'clock. You can see those live on KETV and KETV.com. For now, back to you, Robin Brady.
All right, Adrian Witsit reporting live. Thanks. Now, the man who has held that seat for 16 years says he feels good about tonight. KETV News Watch 7's Dave Roberts with Republican Congressman Lee Terry's campaign. Dave?
Well, unlike yesterday's whirlwind tour of District 2, Lee Terry looked a lot more rested today. We looked at some of those recent polls right now. They are within the margin of error, but giving Brad Ashford a 1-point lead. However, some of the demographics of those polls might not necessarily represent the voter turnout tonight. And voter turnout for both sides appears to be a main issue that they're all focusing on. We talked with Lee Terry just moments ago about that very issue. Voter turnout has been the big issue when it comes to this race, and both candidates are saying that that's going to make the difference. How do you feel about voter turnout today?
Well, it seems to be above average, and so I think that works for us. I'm really pleased that people are getting out. With the weather today, there's no excuses not to vote.
What have you seen? I'm sure you've had some people at the polls watching. What are they telling you?
Well, we've gone through a couple of places just to make sure that we're hitting our goals of turnout, and we're actually exceeding those. So that makes me feel more comfortable going into 8 o'clock tonight.
And during the 2012 election, Sarpy County played a big role in this. They're watching those turnout numbers there, hoping to win over some of those people, the 7,000 people that voted for Mitt Romney in 2012, but voted for the Democratic congressional candidate, John Ewing. Lee Terry says he's focused on those and hopes to win them back, and that'll bring him to victory tonight. We're live at what's being called the GOP Victory Headquarters. Dave Roberts, KETV, Newswatch 7.
Thank you, Dave. For the first time in a decade, you are voting for a new governor in Nebraska. Our team coverage now turns to that race. The Republican candidate vying for the job says he is using every minute until the polls close. KETV Newswatch 7's Christina Engdahl joins us live in Lincoln.
In Brandy, we are live at the Cornhusker Hotel, the same place that Pete Ricketts celebrated his very tight primary win over Attorney General John Bruning. I'm joined live right now with Pete as well. And so first I should ask, the question of the hour is, how are you feeling right now, Pete?
I'm feeling pretty good. We have a great team. We worked very hard these past few months, and now it's just up to the voters to tell us what happened.
Absolutely. And so I know that it's kind of, you know, we're here and it's election night already, but anything you would have changed, anything that you wish you would have done differently?
Not really. I've got a great team, and we ran a great race. I just couldn't be more proud of the folks who are working with me on this. And, you know, we're still working today to turn people out to vote. There's still time left if your viewers haven't voted yet, so get them out.
Absolutely. And how important has it been to you? I know that we saw you yesterday at a big rally, but how important has it been to you to really canvass the whole state, make sure that you're not only seen on TV, but also in person?
Well, it's critical. I've traveled 64,000 miles around the state talking to folks about how we grow the state. And those ideas that are in my campaign plan didn't come from me, they came from the folks in Nebraska about what we need to do to grow the state. So absolutely critical to get out and listen to people.
Absolutely. Thank you very much,
Great.
Pete. Appreciate it. And of course, we will be here all night with live election coverage. We're told that Pete will be back here about 7 o'clock to watch the returns with friends and family as well.
You bet.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Pete. Guys, back to you.
Christina Engdahl reporting live tonight in Lincoln. Thank you. Now to the Democratic challenger for governor, Chuck Hassebrook. KETV Newswatch 7's Melissa Fry is live tonight with the Hassebrook campaign.
Brandy, right now Mr. Hassebrook is giving his last-minute message to voters across the state. Shortly after casting his ballot in his hometown of Lyons, Nebraska, we caught up with Hassebrook in Blair at the municipal airport. He was speaking with supporters, and then he boarded a plane for western Nebraska. First stop, Scottsbluff, then heading east across Nebraska, making several stops to sway voters, especially independents and those who wouldn't typically vote in an off-year election. Hassebrook told me in a non-presidential election cycle, it's mostly Democrats that stay home, but he says that's not the case this year. He's had more than 6,000 volunteers work to reach as many voters as they can. And I'm told Chuck Hassebrook should be back in the area around the time that the polls close. Then he plans to have dinner with his wife and 2 sons. He says after a day on the road, he's had several over the last 16 months. He says it's really good to be down with family, winding down and spending time with his closest supporters as those results come in. Reporting live, Melissa Fry, KETV Newswatch 7.
Thank you, Melissa. Iowa's governor is also campaigning for his job tonight. Republican Terry Branstad voted absentee, but went with his wife as she voted today. Democratic challenger Jack Hatch voted at the polls today. Both say they are pleased with their campaigns.
Back in Nebraska now, and the race for the Senate. Voters will send a new face to Washington. Democrat Dave Domina did some final campaigning in the Old Market this afternoon. He is starting the night in Lincoln and will end up in Omaha at the Firefighters Union Hall. Domina tells KETV Newswatch 7 he's happy with his campaign, fulfilled his goals of keeping it about Nebraska and the issues, and keeping it clean. And he says he's optimistic about tonight's results. So does Republican Ben Sasse. He is in Lincoln tonight watching the results at his campaign headquarters. That's where he met with volunteers earlier today. Even got his kids to pitch in on the push to get him to Washington. Sasse tells us he has confidence in his campaign and for other Republicans across the state. Now, it is the final day of what's been a nasty U.S. Senate race in Iowa. Democrat Bruce Braley voted in his hometown of Brooklyn after spending the day on the road in eastern Iowa yesterday trying to get out the vote. Republican Joni Ernst right there encouraged voters to head to the polls, stopping in several towns. She voted this morning in her home of Red Oak.
Now, there are a number of special issues on the ballot as well. Omaha Public Schools has a $421 million bond. Douglas County West has a $46 million bond up for vote. The Elkhorn School District is asking for $63 million. And voters will decide whether to raise the minimum wage in Nebraska from $7.25 an hour to $9 an hour by 2016.
Well, if you're stuck in the hospital on Election Day, getting to the polls is a struggle. So today, CHI Health brought the vote to the patients. Staff members dropped off ballots for those who requested to vote absentee. It is a first for Thomas Walsh, who's just a day away from being released from the hospital after suffering a stroke.
Well, it makes it much easier for me because I don't have to go to a polling place. I am uncertain as to my mobility, and it's a lot easier for me to do it in the room than it is to go to a polling place.
Again, polls in Nebraska close at 8 o'clock. They're open until 9 in Iowa. And you can get the latest election information even if you're away from the television tonight. Make sure you have the free KETV app. We're going to be streaming live, continuous coverage starting at 8 o'clock with results and analysis. We're going to be on social media with the hashtags KETV and KETV election.
More news is straight ahead, including a deadly crash.